A solar storm, a dense coronal mass ejection from the sunspot collides with Earth. It hit us yesterday, and it was dense. This was expected. It happened. Now, the slow-moving yet thick, dense coronal mass ejection (CME) hit Earth yesterday. It came to fruition with the presence of sunspots on the surface of our star. They're typically cooler than the rest of the surface of the sun, as sunspots are areas with strong magnetic fields. The magnetism is so strong it actually keeps some of the heat from escaping. But as the magnetic field builds, it increases pressure, and then the sunspot, which can erupt as a solar flare, happens. It's a coronal mass ejection. Now, according to space weather, the CME sparks minor geomagnetic storm. As expected, a coronal mass ejection CME struck Earth's magnetic field yesterday, May 26th. The CME was not fast, but it was dense, doubling the density of solar wind in its wake. The impact ultimately sparked a G1 class geomagnetic storm at about 3 to 5 o'clock London time, which is now subsiding. Kindly support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. Now, what is a G1 class geomagnetic storm? The G1 minor geomagnetic storm impacts the power systems. Weak power grid fluctuations can occur. Spacecraft operations, minor impact on satellite operations are possible. And other systems, such as migratory animals, are affected at this and higher levels. Also, aurora is commonly visible at higher altitudes. For example, northern Michigan and Maine. Now, a dense CME collided with our Earth yesterday, and it gave us a G1 class storm. The solar storm of this power can lead to weak power grid fluctuations and minor impact on satellite operations. Dr. Tony Phillips, lead astronomer from Space Weather, wrote that, as expected, the coronal mass ejection struck us, the magnetic field of our Earth, May 26. The CME was not fast, but it was dense, doubling the density of solar wind in its wake. Now, while the solar flare was relatively weak, Dominic Cummings, the ex-advisor to UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, said, "The preparation from government for solar flares is woeful. It's not enough to protect us, because, of course, all our grids can go down." Although solar flares were put on the National Risk Assessment in 2011, there's still little being done to prepare. This is what Cummings told Science and Technology, Health and Social Care Committees in a hearing yesterday when this flare took place. He said there is not a culture of talking to outside experts. I'll give you a recent example. I was talking to some people who said to me, "Did you ever go and read the plan on solar flares?" I said no, and they said if you get some expert advice on that, you'll see the current government plan on that is just completely hopeless. If that happens, we're all going to be in a worse situation than COVID, he said. He said there ought to be an absolutely thorough, total review of all risk register programs. Now, previous studies revealed that the sun releases an extreme solar flare every 25 years on average, with the last one hitting Earth coming in 1989. This storm saw power outages in Quebec, Canada, as conducting rocks on Earth can carry the excess energy from the magnetic shield and plow it into the national grid of a country. And on top of that, an intense solar storm can down satellites, as the bombardment of solar particles radiation can expand Earth's magnetosphere, making it harder for satellite signals to penetrate. And this is from Express UK by Sean Martin and Space Weather. I'll leave links below for you for this. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support.